Nice flowing start. Kind of like a nice growth in terms of hooking your attention. I like how it's starting off with them just with dancing. Nice. Woo! That was nice and sharp. I like how they started off with a lot of flowing and graceful moments, and it felt very ethereal. Great traveling. Nice way of traveling from going from all the way out back to center. Nice rotation. See now how they're going, switching it up from like very strong flow hit. Nice changes of the textures. Nice, very on the nose with the musicality, but it was very nice execution with the moments. Oh, I love that. Roll, dip, roll, hit. Nice switching of like the smooth hit, smooth hit. I love that how they do the musicality for that. The da 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 da. Because it's very, they execute it well. It's very like obvious but not corny. Five, 6, 7, 8. That was a cute like little bubblegum kind of moment. Nice. Nice way of separating the groups. Nice way of changing the different directions. Again, if you want to make your dancing dynamic, especially since they repeat a lot of the choreography with the chorus choreography, like if you want to make it more dynamic, just change the directions, or change if you're go opposite. If you're going with the right, make it the left. It is a bit of a pain in the ass, but it looks the payoff is great. Great use of the floor, going from center all the way stage right to stage left. Nice strong moment with the pause. Feel it, and then the nice little like callback to that. Nice ripple. Love the sound design for that. That's the move, man. It kind of like feels very like let loose, almost thrashy, but like you're just in your zone with the music. Da 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 da. I love their use of the smooth hit, and hit. Oh, I love that simple rotation from here around. Very nice and visual with the hands. First impressions, definitely love the smooth hit, because it creates kind of, I don't know, I'm trying to find the word for it. I'm not going to say thrashy, but it's kind of, it feels like you're like just, there's a feeling of letting go with the music and just being the music with that type of movement. This is the way I'm interpreting it. I love how they started off with just letting them dance first, kind of just because these guys are multitasking. They're essentially kind of starting off with dancing with a lot of flowing movements, very ethereal. These definitely started off with kind of like a low, chill energy. They hooked your attention with this like flow, and then facing different directions, keeping their attention away from you, and then like later on they bring it back and bring that connection. Great use of the floor. They do a lot of like splitting from stage left, stage right, and then coming back in. Either they go out to in or in to out. Yeah, that's it. Great use of shapes, clean lines. They all essentially look the same. Like the training that they got for this is S tier. So the format for the analysis, I'm kind of like, I like experimenting. So we're gonna do a wardrobe review, and then we're gonna do a spacing and flow review, and then we're gonna review the choreography last, because that's where we can get a little bit more into the nitty gritty of how the choreography goes with the movement. Like wardrobe, because it can either help support the look and vibe you're going for, or it can kind of hinder the vibe you're looking for, and your performance. And we'll see how that affects them overall when we review the choreography. Okay, so first off, let's do wardrobe review. Let's find a decent frame where I can see everything. As you can see, for the wardrobe that they had, they definitely went for a more themed look, which makes it feel very cohesive. Again, for those of you guys watching me on YouTube for the first time, you can make your routines cleaner or messier depending on the wardrobe. So if you want to go for cleaner, I always go for the route of like make everyone wear the same damn thing, same shirt, same pants, same everything, because that makes it look cleaner. But the thing is, it takes away individuality. If you want to make everyone look unique, go for everyone wearing different things, which can make everyone look unique, but it can be so visually loud. Say if there's pinks and reds and patterns, it can be distracting and also potentially make your choreography messier. But beyond all of that, as long as the choreography is on lock for everyone, it doesn't really, not so much. It kind of matters because it's kind of presenting the final product, but it doesn't really matter as long as the choreography like everyone looks good doing it. Because if the choreography shit, doesn't matter like what you're wearing. So for this one, they do right in the middle. They go for a more of a themed kind of look with the blues and with blue, black, and white. I like this color scheme because I feel like I haven't seen enough of it. It's either been like I'm biased towards like a red, black, and white, or maybe something with green, or maybe something with like more earth tones. That's what I've been seeing, and that's coming up. But shoot, I've been reacting to a lot of videos this year, but I definitely like these shades of blue. So they meet with right in the middle of like, instead of the same and unique, they definitely go right in the middle of let me change the color here real quick. In terms of more of a themed look. Oops. Hello. Okay. So because everyone's wearing blue, black, and white. But also it's different for every single one. We got plaid shirt here. We got, I don't know what this material is. We got something that's a little bit more faded. We got like a one stripe here, and someone who's not wearing blue, but it kind of fits it kind of fits this and this. So therefore, that itself is great as a standalone. And it's not popping out too much because the colors are a little bit more muted, but not exactly. They're not in your face. If this was a red like dress or even like pink, that'd be another story. Yeah. So they definitely stayed in the theme. Everyone stands out, but it's still similar enough where everyone can look clean. In terms of the stage, because I've talked about this sometimes. Like I haven't talked about it lately. I sometimes I personally sometimes bitch and whine about the stage because sometimes it's loud, or sometimes the wardrobe, they end up blending. What I do like is is that they have a nice, almost like complementary or so. I forgot the color theory, but they have a color here that's a little darker, and not. It's hard. I'm trying to find the word here. Not exactly darker because it's still bright, but it's a different color that brings them out. If that makes sense, and it's consistent throughout. Nonetheless, like, they still have crazy like patterns going throughout the whole thing. But it's not so distracting because what it's doing is complementing what's happening. But see, if we go here, it's still like the same color scheme, but it doesn't ever go to blue too much, or at least the shade of blue to the point where it brings them out. if that's making sense. So it's nice, good use of the color there, because imagine if this part was blue itself, like I mean, if I had time, I would probably just use AI or something to do that. If this is the same, just to make my point, if it was blue itself, you can kind of start seeing it already, that they're kind of blending. Last thing you want to do is your artist to blend to the background. You want to use the background to complement it, but not overpower them. Okay, so that's in terms of the wardrobe and also the use of the stage. Great designs by on the backdrop. Okay, so now let's check out how they use the floor. So, anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying like this more specific sectioned breakdown of wardrobe, stage, floor spacing, and then choreography. Okay, let's fly through this. Oh no, I'm not about to go to dynamics yet. Nice centered, great. Going from like the centered motion, boom, split, bring it back into this middle. Great dynamics. Look at that, boom, from this amorphous blob, boom, coming out. Great use of the floor. Translates very well onto that as well. So what's interesting is like however you practice, wherever you practice, is what's going to translate to here. So if this was the spacing that they're used to, this is the spacing that they're going to use, just because of muscle memory. If you have a bigger stage and you want to use that same big stage, you got a bigger practice room. Okay, let's keep going. Good dynamics. See how they're centered right here a lot. Boom, boom, boom. But look how they're changing that up. Even though they're centered the whole time in terms of using the floor, boom. They do a change formation here. 2, 2, 2, boom. Another 2, 2, 2, boom. Pyramid formation, boom. Switching it up into this. Another pyramid. So there's nothing wrong with staying center the whole time, or center floor. Just make sure you see all these variations. Just move the formations around, move your people around. And I like this here because it's very off asymmetrical double line right there into this one line, into this nice contrast of here to this contrast of like, boom, very small shape right here. So, and this is where angles kind of matter too, because you can tell this is off, but this is a better job of hiding it to do the setup, because that did a brilliant reveal of like, oh, it's one person. Boom. Great uses of visually of the floor. Let's keep moving. And great move right here. Because they guide your eye right here, spreads it out, then they make you bring your attention to a stage left, and they split it. Boom. I really want to see this from a top view. They're walking, boom, switch, nice weave through into that, boom. Again, similar choreography, great way. I'm not gonna go into choreography yet. Great way of getting back into the center, back into this kind of pyramid formation. Again, they're back center, but what they're doing a great job with is different levels and dynamics right here. Talk more about that in the choreography section. Boom. Great use of the floor, but this one still centered. I mean, most choreography is centered, but like, again, like that's the way they use the space. Like, look how close this is, and they're like more upstage. Now they're downstage. Boom. Back to this line. Props to that, because lines are often, I'll explain it in the choreography, lines are often high risk, high reward. Ooh, that was a clean transition into this pyramid, reverse pyramid. Good, nice movement into the diagonals. So they go here. Boom, they weave through. That was smooth. They go to that two lines into that, to this diagonal. Beautiful shape. Again, diagonals are kind of high risk, high reward as well. because you want to make sure that spacing for everyone is as equal as possible. And look at that. Look at look at their feet. Look at their feet here. It is beautifully spaced. The thing with this is sometimes the front, again, this is why practice is important. Sometimes they end up here, and then it creates this awkward kind of curve. And the front is the one that sets that. And if they accidentally, because it happens in run throughs, they step back a little bit. It's up to these guys to have their awareness to adjust. But the thing is, the person right here doesn't know if they're properly in the diagonal, because like ideally in a diagonal, this person does not see this person. Okay, that because if you see the other person, that means you're either too far in or you're too far forward. So again, spacing is can get a little tricky. But executed well, it's a great formation to a far, because it's unique going from these block type formations in the center, because this is it's an asymmetrical formation that uses the whole floor, and it's also high risk, high reward. Great dynamics, back center. I've been liking how they go to stage left a lot. Go back to that split. Also, I'm guessing that's part of the chorus choreography, because the second time I'm seeing that. Again, great use of dynamics, as they say in center. Nice rotation. So right here is a nice rotation, so you guys can see it. Ooh, that was not even a rotation. That was more of a weave. Look at that. Boom, boom. Very, very graceful going into that. I love the big shapes. It's like in animation, it's called squash and stretch, because like say someone's about to do a jump. Say this is a ball. They squash, and then they stretch. So, and it's a nice little, because it builds anticipation of whoop, you can and it's a nice contrast, because we got big and then we go small, which gives more appreciation to the buildup for this next shape. Again, great use of spreading out the floor, and back to here. Nice ripple on that. Great use of the asymmetry right here. So you can see how small this is. It's all this asymmetry was almost lost because it's kind of close. It almost looks like a 2. It almost looks like a 2-2-2-2. So it almost looks like this. But in reality, based off this, there's a person here. It essentially is that, but with separation. So you notice how if the more I push this person out, the more you can see the asymmetry, and the more. But because of spacing, you got to work there, because there's not all dance studios are the same in terms of spacing, and sometimes you just got to work with what you got. So I'm just saying, this almost got lost because she was close. Nice ending with this block formation and levels. Okay, so that's it in regards to in terms of the using the floor and the formations. Okay, on Twitch, Haraya says, not a fan of the denim mini skirt because they are rigid like the other skirts. Oh, so this is the perspective I do not have, because I have not had the pleasure of dancing in a skirt. So I can only imagine how much of a pain in the ass that can be for some. Shit, I hate dancing in jeans. Fuck, I get so mad dancing in jeans because they're so stiff. The thing that I do when I get new pants is I do a range of motion test. So I kick as high and kick forward and back, side to side, as high as I can. That way I can see if there's any sort of resistance, I'm like, fuck this, next. Because there's been so many times where I sacrifice performance so I can look good on stage. What's going on, Erica? And it sucks because it's uncomfortable. I have not worn jeans in years because fuck jeans. I wear joggers. Ever since I've discovered joggers, I'm like, yeah, yeah, except new jeans because it still looks professional-ish, and it's also comfortable. I like optimizing things I wear for multiple use. Like I don't want to like I used to wear suits a lot back in 2010, 2008, 9, whatever, around that time. And the thing is, I'd be one of those dudes that would be like overdressed to the party and shit. But the thing is, like when I got more deeper into my dance career, I'm like it just was not practical. I'm not going to an audition decked out in a full suit. It's not practical, especially if it's not the look they're going for. Most of the time, they're not looking for your a fresh dressed, suited up dude in an audition. You have to look the part of a hip hop dancer for whoever you're auditioning for. Yeah, I wonder if artists get any input on their wardrobe, or if that's just the label saying, "Here's the look." The art department or whatever, the marketing department said, like here's what you have to wear, and then that's it. And I feel like I wonder if they have that leeway to be able to do that. Okay, let's do it. Let's go into this choreography. So here's the thing. Like I said, I was doing this so I could be a little bit more efficient with my reactions. I think I found these reactions have gone longer because I've found different ways to section off different parts of the knowledge. So I hope, and that's one of the reasons I kind of hesitated by going to the old format. I think, yeah, it makes sense if some can choose because, like, if they're big, they can be like, all right, this is, I'm doing the thing now. Like, cause the label needs me now in a sense. So, but yeah, that does make sense. Like if most artists who aren't huge, they have to do what the label says. I think I was recently listening to like a bit from like, I don't know if you guys know who NSYNC is or follow them, but there's an old band from the 90s, 2000s. But Justin Timberlake, he went on his solo thing, and the reason why he went solo for longer instead of immediately coming back to NSYNC was because the label said this. Label says you're going on tour. Label says you're doing this, and all that. And they essentially pulled him away from the group when he wanted to go back to the group. If I remember that correctly. But because the label said this, and he's not super huge megastar yet to this level as he is now, he can't exactly call the shots, and especially after they had just gotten out of a lawsuit. Analysis time of the choreography. See, I love the sound, like the very ethereal 80s type of music. I feel like I'm like watching Tron, but also this backdrop helps complement the shit out of it because we have the dun 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 dun, and we got this backdrop that's twinkling, and then it also complements. I'm overanalyzing this now, but they are complementing it with very slow, deliberate, ethereal, like to give that ethereal feeling. They're not being aggressive, but there's a lot of resistance and motions, like very elongated movements. So is that? Yeah, it's like they're like 2-3 counts per move, like kind of like. And it also does sound like Stranger Things. You're right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I counting off? 1, 2. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go. So interesting. Starts. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, my counting was just terrible. Okay, boom, push, and then they slowly start building it up into this shape right here. Bah. 5, 6, 7, 8. So this was a nice nice shape going into this. They bring the attention. So notice like the first few seconds here, boom, they're looking away, but all the attention your eyes go into is the movement, and you're kind of drawn into it because like, oh, what's happening? But also like you want to make that connection with the eyes. Boom. Then they give it to you here. Then they take it away to bring you to this formation, and then bam, they throw another head look and look at you guys to bring you like, boom, it's about to start. Bam. Does it mean the song sound a little drum and bass? A lot of this moment right here, very boom, boom, start movements, building up. 7, 8. I feel like this is like, I love the hand gestures, very like reminiscent of ABDC, or like Super Crew, Quest Crew, Jabberwockies. They all had their own like their own gang sign in the sense. So hey, well. Ooh, I love this travel right here. So very clean movements and lines. So nothing crazy in terms of intricacy, like no one yana to it, but like very clean, deliberate shapes. So boom, right there, clean, boom, boom. Quick moment here, big. And I love the deliberate like change, or I appreciate the deliberate change of like this movement. I feel like could be bigger with using the core, like with a little bit of contract. But knowing that they're also singers, they can't be doing that. So I just like, because this is a moment here I knew like, oh, this would be better if this would be bigger and groovier with the use of a groove or just the contraction. But I just find that I'm always amazed at like that these I guess changes or compromises that they have to make with choreography to keep the integrity of their voice. Ooh, wow, okay. So I like this travel. It's very like graceful and strong. Leaning your head a little too much. I see what they're going for. See, this is what I'm talking about in terms of subtle and then kind of going a little too much. She's got the right idea. On that head tilt. But see how much a little bit more subtle she has it. But so got to see this subtle head tilt. There's like a see that just a little bit, and then that difference of just like a couple inches, a couple degrees. It's the right idea, but it's a little too much. So again, as I was saying, I like how they're gracefully walking. And this backdrop kind of complements the movement as they're traveling to stage right. That musicality, the da 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 da, and then they use that to be like playful towards the audience, because at that point we're going very strong, big lines, straight line, big shapes, and then from here they go with a subtle kind of flow. Who designed this? Like, because we have like the moment of traveling, but we're expanding out. I mean, could we see something in the lyrics I'm not catching because I don't have subtitles on Premiere, but they're going very out, which kind of the backdrop kind of complements it because it's trees reaching out as well. Good use of levels. Little confused. So there's a slight difference here in head looks. So let me see. Let me just watch this real quick. Okay, I see what's happening. So she's the main singer, and what we're having is we're having a push out, look, push out, and look again, push out, look, push. So and that we're going to that same like motif that they're going, like a breathe, hit, But with this, her just on this details, you can see in the practice video too, in terms of this head look, full head, and then just kind of at the 45. And then again, this angle is a little different as well. Boom and boom. This is where like a very distinct head look is, and detail can take away the effect. So let's look at her real quick. So she's kind of looking at the 45. Shouts out, but she's got a smile engaging. Boom. Bah. The head look is there, but not as powerful. But from here, boom, taking it away, boom, bah. See the difference of like a full look, bah. Or like looking at you guys, like if I turn this way, bah. Like this is like one of those things I mentioned in a lot of my other videos of like, there's a difference of just looking, and when people say look to your left and they just use their fucking eyes, or look to your right, and then a full-on head look, like you should feel a kind of stretch. Like when look up, don't just fucking do this. You look all the way up, because it's one of those small details that you see here. Again, real time, you don't really notice it, but breaking it down, these are small cleaning details that they would probably bring up when they're in practice. Ooh, I love that simple flow, because we have like this big bat in, out, roll it in, lean forward, flow, 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 and up. This is like simple-ish choreography, because all it is like a da, 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 up. It's just different speed and tempo. But it's very effective. It's because it's so visual. Da, bah. Get those hits. Let's go. Okay, so they go into the line here. So again, high risk, high reward, because unlike a block formation, where let's put a marker here real quick, like where you can hide people in the back like that, in a line formation, everyone's seen. So if your lines are off, if your hair is off, like crazy like mine right now, or if your angle's off, or level's off, whatever, everyone will see it, because no one can be hidden here. So let's take a look at that. So boom, smooth transition to here, boom. So in case you guys are trying to follow me, I'm prioritizing the bottom screen right now for the performance. So boom. So in real time, you kind of don't notice some of it, because it's clean. It looks pretty good. So I think they killed it, flying colors. But let's see, like in terms of just for nitpicky purposes, so you guys can kind of know what to look for if you ever like were to lead your own thing. So boom. No, goddamn, I'm having a hard time. Like nice, even sits all around, and you can tell is she tall? How tall is she? Either way, wow. Because I'm seeing slightly different like levels in the pop. Like this is definitely more bend, a little less bend, but the main thing I'm seeing is nice even levels. I think the hips are about the same, but I think the legs are forgivable, because shouts out to tall people who have to adjust to shorter people to make sure that they hit this level. So that's what I think is they are matching all around in terms of the shape. Oh, I like that playful. Okay, so in terms of the choreography, rotation going into this diagonal, nice going with this this. I think did the Zeo Rangers friggin' form, or is it Turbo Rangers that morph like that? Anyways, boom, nice use of levels right here. I like this lean. It's like it's what do you call it? It's very bubblegum in terms of the vibe, but because of the angle, even here, and even here, you kind of can't. So okay, got distracted. Okay, so nice So what they did here, they go to this rotation kick. Ooh, look at look! I love the awareness of her kick, the length of the legs too. Boom! Just this is one of those things where your choreography, the choreography has to be modified for transition. Boom! So it has plenty of space, but look how close they have to really split because they're just going from front to back. They have some good spacing here, but if she moved higher, she would have kneed her in the butt. Boom. Yeah, nice little rotation, so not to actually, or switch spots. Boom. Then they get into this diagonal. I love that part. I mean, for just how simple it is, they're just going, touching both sides of their cheeks, and then up the top of the chest, under the stomachs, and it's just make sure they hit the right textures. Ooh, great, like boom, kind of. Because at this whole point, they're just like very nice, strong shapes, and then they give us a nice melt. Nice for this nice reveal, and shouts out to whoever designed this freaking backdrop, because this whole chorus part really matches the energy as well. And then as they're going down, they got a backdrop that has downward motion as well. Shouts out to whoever put this together, man. Damn, love that. That's the move for me right now. It's like this kick. Ha! Into that walk, I'm just like, you're not one of us. Dang, she had to book it for that. She was on center. I love this plaid, by the way, and I love plaid shirts. So if I ever decide to do like a PO box, I love plaid shirts. I've had the same plaid shirt since 2008, and it's still in good condition. But yeah, anyway, so she boom. Look how fast she had to change to get to this, to all the way to stage right, and then she's technically like right here to move all the way there. It's a smaller room, but you still have to put an effort to get to the other side of that formation. Man, they made her move. So, nice simple dynamic. Just like one person pushing everyone down. But for this very cute kind of moment. Ooh, I love that sequence as well. Like where everyone's kind of this right here. Like they're trailing off, growing into it, but they keep going with the rest of the choreography. Great way to section off the choreography. Okay, so they're essentially doing this sequence right here. So 1 and 2 and 3. But these three are essentially taking the really elongated, because they still do that rise, they do that dip, and go around and pick it up on this Destiny's Child kind of pose right there. That's clever. Wow. So they use the same sequence or same combo, but they slowed it down. One's going regular speed, one's going fast. One's going slow. I don't think I've ever seen that. Okay, now we're going opposite, which look is great, but also a pain in the ass. But also, that should be a normal thing that dancers do anyways. Let's see what the risk was for this switch right here. They're really close, and they're doing a kicking motion. So, like, look at that. If she kicked any higher, she'd kick her calf. Great shape into that, building that anticipation. So, stretch, then squash it in, squash and stretch, but also changing from like a strong shape into a flow. Ba, da. Great speed control. Definitely a lot of walking to their formations. Let's get into that pause. I like that. It's clever. Like one of my favorite lessons that I learned from one of my mentors was like slowing things down. And sometimes you do with a pause real quick and then you go. They do a nice little pause here. Pause, go. Then they recall it and a bap bap, a little faster. I think that's smart and economical, but two, it allows them to have a strong moment to sit with the music and perform then before moving forward. And then two, the third is like repetition can be mesmerizing. Which is why like grooves are a lot of fun to watch. Love that ripple. That's pretty straightforward, man. So I don't have to go into like how awesome that ripple is. God, they're moving. Someone's moving a lot. Four, five, six, seven, eight. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay. So, girl with the plaid. I think they're just rotating. Oh no, she's moving a lot too. She's going from like stage right in the back, and then all the way to center. Oh, see, okay, cool. So this is the asymmetry part. So in my eyes, so this is where I again where this kind of fell apart. Not fell apart, but she's too close to the point where it looks like she's off in the formation. When in reality, it's just an asymmetry thing. So I would have just pushed her out a little bit more. Great ending. Great pose for the ending. Yeah, that's it. A good almost 45 minutes of me overanalyzing this. Hopefully you guys learned a little something with the wardrobe and the backdrop and the formations and all that. Let's hop on to the next one.